All right, my good friends, I will kick off this evening's stock market review and recap with the official. Here it comes. Hashtag joyous and jubilant hello to all of my good friends out there in the trading universe. I'm already chuckling. This is going to be quite the entertaining mutterings or market review, whatever you want to call it. Welcome to another edition of Stock Market Review and Recap. Doug here with Trade with Doug. Welcome each and every one. If this is your first time, or if this is your 1000th time, let me remind you why we're all here. It's for me to take a grope in the murkiness, try to make some sense out of the stock market that lies before me. And I hope in doing so, I can translate it well enough that you yourself can take these trade ideas I have and profit on them and spend that money on yourself, because I was a good guy. So anyway, I'm already chuckling because I'm sort of in this scratch the head phase of a trader that we all go through. I was really thinking, Friday was like I got put in a wash machine, right? The dry cycle, when you're just tumbling, boom, 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 boom. It was like at the end of the week, my brain's fried to a crisp. And I'm thinking, man, this was a total sucker move here in the Qs where we go up, we hold all day, dive at the end, and it's like curtains, good night, all hell's going to break loose, market's finished, and then it just goes just nuts. Now you're thinking, all right, that's an authoritative buying, and I believe I mentioned that in the market mutterings, only to follow it up with whatever you got going on today, with more indecision, more chop, more confusion. Now perhaps we could poke our fingers all the way around everywhere and say, let me move the chart down a little bit so everyone can see it, because maybe the video is blocking it. And anyway, I'll draw it here for a second, because this might end up blocking it when we re-edit this video. But you got a decent little chart here, just kind of chopping around a little bit. Now we got another 40 minutes before the market closes. Hard to tell what might happen. Maybe this thing goes parabolic, but still holding its own here, but albeit very, very choppy. Now I want to pull up a couple of charts here, just give you a quick review of some of the stuff that I'm seeing so we can get ourselves prepared for tomorrow. And again, I hope you had a really good trading day. If you guys need help, you know where to find me. Let me get rid of my mess up there in the top. Still the same story. You've got a Dow that continues to flourish in this environment. You are now pressing just a few ticks from all-time highs, maybe hits all-time highs before the market is closed today. Some of the stocks we've been talking about continue to lead, like Facebook. This thing sort of has, let's say, a mind of its own, or it's sort of in its own little universe right now. While many of the other tech names and growth names have really been butchered, this one has done a very good job. But nonetheless, across the board, we're continuing to see aggressive volatility. And I mentioned it last week and also the week before. If you guys are in the growth trading space, or you're in the high beta, I think most of you got to move out of that. It's a really rough area to be in because of these expanded ranges. It's really a stock picker's market where maybe one or two will perform well, but it's sort of a hit or miss. And what I mean by that is some days it's maybe Netflix, it's maybe Nvidia. The following day it's probably Facebook, and the other ones go down. So we're just really kind of bouncing back and forth with this power struggle. So you have to, beta cuts both ways. If the market gets really, really aggressive to the downside, as many of you may have experienced recently, it can get pretty painful. They're great in bull markets, and they're destructive in bear markets. So much of what you're seeing here in this market is also asset reallocation by moving into lower beta, more solid names, and such. Now my thinking also was maybe some of these prices got down to some pretty good levels, many in which we talked about, but not really outside of this ACOM that I brought up has been performing. TER was one here today, TER, that I've been talking about for a little while. It really looked good. Looked like it was going to, really press through the highs, but, a little bit of retracement here, a little bit of back testing. But the ranges in this are a lot. So it's like -6 here for the day. Apple here just kind of laying, just right here, laying down here at the 200 moving average and being at the 200-day moving average, which it hasn't seen that in several months. I mean, you got to go all the way back here to last year to find out when has Apple connected with its 200-day moving average. That's what this line is here, by the way, guys, the 200-day. You got to go all the way back here into April of last year, so 365 days ago before you've even touched it. Now you're really close to that again. Now, I've always said this too, that the 200-day is a balance normally between good and evil. If a stock can trade above that or bounce off of that, that's normally a good sign, or it's a great defensible spot. As assets tend to trade under here, they technically become bearish, and at this point, it's very hard for some of these to make a bounce, and some of them have now, ones that we've talked about, ESTC and tons of others, you go down your list, you're going to see them now underneath of those 200-day moving averages. And honestly, some of those big power names like the Fubos and all of those big names that we really did well with, all those big growth stocks. I mean, just look at this thing, 62 to 21. Not a single buyer to be found down in here. These other ones like, I've been calling it Planter, but it's not what it is. It's Palantir. Palantir. I featured this in the video the other day. Is this a buy? And I said, no, not here at this moment. Still not a buy. So you have some of these big, powerful growth, hot stock names, EV space names, not doing anything at all. And even when we really look at this, like we've said before, man, here is Tesla, the leader of all that which leads, the Spartacus of stocks, right, is now dead. Now, I know there's going to be some people yelling about that comment. Let me just say, it's dead for now. I don't even want to tell me that it's going to go to $14,000 next month. But here's the thing that you're seeing, the difference in market tempo. Before, Tesla, Musk could tweet, he could say anything he wanted, stock would just rip. Any good news now that comes by is perceived more selling in this name. You're just not attracting buyers in a lot of this stuff. And that's where we are. You've got a couple of good movers. Let's say, I'm going down here. This oak, the chart looks nice here, but again, it's under the 200-day moving average, like I just mentioned. That one's a pretty good mover today. You got a little bit of juice out of Netflix, NVIDIA, but nowhere near what NVIDIA used to be. And ADSK was one that I mentioned that I wanted to trade. Looks pretty good here today. Out of all of the stuff I'm looking at, you're having a pretty good day with that one. And Airbnb with a pretty nice trade setup here too. The thing I have to caution everybody is this. I mean, I can look at a ton of these and say these are all great trade setups. But where you're at right now with these, this is just my opinion. So many of these are down so far that you no longer have to be ahead of the curve to buy this stuff. That's just my opinion. When the market's aggressive and it's bullish and it's directional, you don't get a lot of pullbacks. So you have to meet each pullback with aggression, right? You have to just gobble up each pullback. Well, everybody's done that and they've been stopped out up to this point, right? So these things just keep going lower. They keep going lower. I mean, I've tried some myself. I'm not too proud to say, proud to throw myself under the bus here. I looked at several names here, most notably ESTC, TER, some names that were down considerably that I wanted to reignite positions in. And now I'm in these positions and they're just not going anywhere. I'm the only one thinking this. There's just not enough buying pressure in those names yet. Now, of course, this could all change. While I'm doing this, the market could rip 400 points. But for right now, whether it's an end of the quarter window dressing, I don't know. Or it's just continues to be sector rotation, I don't know. But that's just the theme. As I look at the strong Dow, really, if you say, what is the one instrument to trade? It's the Dow. Trade the Dow. Because the rest of them are hit or miss. So, for example, Netflix, NVIDIA, Lulu, Caterpillar, Apple, slightly green today or a little much in the green. Will they be in the green tomorrow, or will it be the stuff that's on the bottom of your watch list? So many of you are learning here the survival part of being a stock market trader, that there are peaks and valleys in it, and this is something that you have to deal with. Not every single period in time is going to be as easy and as directional as what it was post-election all the way up until a month ago. You have to be able to survive through these. And when I'm saying surviving, I'm not just saying still being around with a few bucks in your pocket. It's important for you to keep and maintain the majority of the money that you kept. This, again, re-highlights the fact of gains, taking gains, because you just never know when things are going to turn. And you just can't follow many of these people these days, the newer traders. I know we've picked on them sometimes, and I don't mean to pick on people or discourage people, but you just cannot blindly add to stocks month after month after month when they're going down and expect that some of these are going to come back, because they are not. The markets will always come back, but stocks themselves may not. There will be certain names that just never ever recover, and there's a long history of great stocks that are now gone. I'm not mentioning that there's any of them we're talking about right now, but let's just point the fingers at PLTR and say, look, if it continues to get any worse, you know, who's to say that it will bounce, right? You just can never fall in love with this stuff, and you can never expect that it's always going to be that way. It's just a small, brief lesson of understanding why we're here, guys. We're here to take the gains. We're here to make money. There are certain times that come by like this right now where we've said in these past lessons, I hope some of you were taking notes about what it is to be risk on, risk off, because now we're in a tough market, you know. And you know, I'll be honest too. I'm not going to be like every other trade representative out there, a trade person. I don't want to use the word guru because I'm not a guru. But, you know, all these people are just thinking it works perfectly every day. Well, it does not. You know, I will tell you right now, this market is more difficult to trade than a month ago. You know, it was easier because everything kept going up. There were very few pullbacks. There were very few threatening trades. Now every trade I take is short term. It's a scalp, and many of them get threatened. So I have to really tighten up everything. I have to tighten up my stops, lower my positions, be less patient, take my gains when I can get them, cut my losses as soon as I possibly can, and scrape out. So now I'm scraping out profit versus just sitting back and getting lazy profit. So that's just the way the whole business cycle works. I hope whatever it is out there, you're safe and you're doing well. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up right there. I mean, I could go on and give you 100 different stock names to talk about, but I think we really got to pay attention to the indices right now. You're still in this balance where the Dow is going to break highs. Hell, I might be doing this right now. Should I put a hat on? Put a hat on, 33.1. So, you know, where are we at here? 134. I think it's, yeah, we're hitting it right now. Look, all-time high. Beep, 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 right? What is those things? Whatever. No bear market there. Let's see what the Qs are doing here real quick, because I've been talking, not paying attention. See if they're getting the lift. But anyway, protect yourself out there, guys. Take care of yourselves. It's not really doing much. It's not invited to the party. Got kicked out of the band. Getting back on topic as I wrap up. I could easily do a lot of these, but pay attention to the indices. Right now, you've got a lot of volatility in different industries. You've got different money moving around different stocks, which brings all the, you have to pick the right stock. You can pick the junk stock out of the day, because as I'm looking at this, there's only a quarter of my watch list over here is green. The rest is just red. You know, it's just red while the S&P looks decent. The Dow looks good. And mainly just growth stocks taking a dive here. So anyway, guys, I want you to trade well. I want you to thank you for watching this video. If you like it, give me the thumbs up on it. If you want to keep up to date with the entertainment, the education, or whatever I'm doing here at Trade with Doug, then I urge you to subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I wish you a very good day. I will chat with everyone soon. Take care.